Hey everyone, Luke here, and today we're going to talk about a very important topic in nutritional balancing science, and that is something called sympathetic dominance. And how we see sympathetic dominance on a hair test is anytime potassium is at 4 or lower, okay? So sympathetic dominance just simply means anytime someone is overusing their sympathetic nervous system. So that's the way you should think of it, okay? So the body, it's important to know, has two different nervous systems, okay? Your parasympathetic nervous system and your sympathetic nervous system. Now, your parasympathetic nervous system is the nervous system that is responsible for doing all the things that you don't have to think about, okay? So you don't have to think about beating your heart, you don't actively engage your liver, and all these different things, okay? And that's what your parasympathetic nervous system does, okay? It detoxifies the body, it beats your heart, and it does all these different things with your organs, okay? And then your sympathetic nervous system is the one that you actively use. So you think of, if you're walking down the street and then a car is about to hit you, your sympathetic nervous system responds, okay? Your adrenals activate, your thyroid starts producing more hormones, your heartbeat increases, and then you jump out of the way of the car, okay? So that's your sympathetic nervous system. Anytime you're playing a sport, when you're actively engaged in an activity, that's your sympathetic nervous system, okay? And so one of the most common patterns that we see, and especially in our society today, because people tend to overwork their nervous systems, is sympathetic dominance. And what that simply means is just that the person is overusing their sympathetic nervous system, and because of that, because your body only has so much energy, when you overuse your sympathetic nervous system, you don't have enough energy to properly use your parasympathetic nervous system. So what that means is that your organs of elimination, aren't going to work as well. Okay, so that's important to know. That's why people that are stressed out all the time tend to don't live as long. It's because when you're stressed out and your body's producing all these stress hormones, okay, these have a detrimental effect on the body because they're taking actually energy and they're actually taking blood away from the organs, okay? That's why when you eat a meal, which is a parasympathetic activity, digestion is another parasympathetic activity, you don't want to run around for a while, right? You don't want to go do sprints 5 minutes after you eat a meal, right? Because that's a sympathetic activity, and digestion is a parasympathetic activity, okay? So what'll happen if you go do sprints after you eat a meal, your body has to draw blood away from the organs, okay, into things like your heart and other things, so it can use that blood, it can use that energy to use the sympathetic nervous system, okay? So what happens is in our society especially is people overwork, they don't sleep enough, they eat stimulating foods, they're not eating the right kinds of foods, all these different things. And what this does is it causes the sympathetic nervous system to be turned on way too much, and then because of that their digestion suffers, okay? So people can't sleep as well, and fatigue sets in because sympathetic dominance will cause burnout because you're using your adrenals and your thyroid too much. So your energy systems of your body will eventually shut down because it means that you're using those systems too much, okay? Just like when you overuse a car and it begins to run down, okay? So you got to rebuild the body, and you have to teach people to use use their parasympathetic nervous system more, okay? So how we do that is we avoid stimulatory foods. Things like wheat and sugars have a stimulatory effect on the body, and they enhance sympathetic dominance. We like people to go to bed early. Getting enough rest is crucial. Many people do not sleep enough. Many people need to sleep up to 10 hours, 10 to 11 hours a night. We like for people to go to bed by 9 p.m., all these different things. We're trying to, get people out of this sympathetic state of body, okay? And also, it's important to know that the minerals have parasympathetic effects on the body. Things like zinc, for example, and calcium and magnesium. That's why when people take a CalMag, they sleep a lot better because these have a parasympathetic effect on the body. Okay, that's why we use these minerals, and a huge part of the reason why people have sympathetic dominance is not only are they lacking the minerals in their bodies that have a parasympathetic effect like zinc and calcium and magnesium, but they also have toxic metals embedded in their adrenals, embedded in their thyroid, embedded in their nervous system. And what happens is these things constantly irritate the nervous system and activate it, okay? Things like cadmium, okay? All the toxic metals. What these do is they embed, like I said, in your energy systems, and they're constantly stimulating you. So what happens is that people have a hard time slowing down, and they have a hard time concentrating and all these different things because their nervous system is just constantly being activated by these heavy metals, okay? So part of it also is removing the heavy metals and replacing them with the more sedative minerals, okay? So that's, that's a couple of the ways that we use minerals to, get the person to rest more. Basically what we're trying to do, okay? Because rest is probably the most important thing, okay? Not only are you trying to remineralize the body, which help you rest, all these things really are trying to move you in a more restful state, okay? And we also like people to use a grounding and meditation exercise, that helps you keep in a more grounded, centered state all the time, right? Because, there's people get stressed out for no reason all the time, right? Now, sometimes we all get stressed out, but, the goal is to have no stress response, okay? If your car breaks down, if you, maybe you're having financial trouble, remember the end goal is to have no stress response to these things and to be in a constant state of groundedness, okay? Remember, that's the goal of development of the human being. So I hope this helps you guys out, okay? And I'll talk to you guys later.